want some? Who's next? Huh? How about it? Who wants some?
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
Well, hello, and welcome back to the very best place that you could be in the entire world, the entire void, the entire universe, the VHS Doom podcast and rental store. And Happy New Year, everybody. That's right. Welcome to the very first episode of 2024. And actually the very first episode of season 3. So this is our 41st episode, and every 20 episodes we kind of like call it a new season. So hey, you're in season 3, even if you didn't know you were even in season 2 before. Anyway, this week we're ringing in the new year with a bit of a different style episode. Unfortunately, due to our very hectic work and family schedules, Mikey and I were not able to secure a time to record our episode on Candyman, as was announced a while back. So this week, you're supposed to be hearing Candyman, but you're not, and I'm sorry about that. We're very sorry that we couldn't make it happen, but I did want to make sure that you had something from the VHS Doom rental store this week, so I'm going to do a very short episode on a really fun movie that I watched that I was going to talk about, just about, what I watched this week, and it's actually from Mikey's previous suggestions. It's Larry Cohen's Q, the Winged Serpent. So tons of fun there. But before we get into that, we do truly hope that all of you enjoyed last week's episode where we covered 1980's New Year's Evil. Not only did we dive into a New Year's classic, but we also were blessed with the miraculous return of Hugh Janus. I wish I could be more excited for that, but unfortunately we discovered that Hugh is a big fucking narc. And ratted on someone while he was in lockup like a bitch. And apparently because everyone in the world except Hugh knows the old adage, snitches get stitches, we had quite the insane gun/knife/kung fu battle in the store last week, where Hugh essentially just ran off and let me and Balthazar fight off evil, as he said his name was. It was fucking wild. It took days to clean up all of that mess, but we did make Hugh do it all by himself, so that's something. Mikey got a really good kick to the head from Balthy that still looks pretty gnarly. Balthy's here this week. Hey, come over here, buddy. Did you apologize to Mikey?
He called me a Koopa Troopa bitch, so no, I absolutely did not apologize to him.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's true. I do really wish you guys would stop fighting all the time, though. Like, what's the fucking deal, man?
Well, to be honest, you used to do a podcast with me as your co-host, and then you abandoned me for Mikey, and that made me really sad, so I guess I kind of hold a grudge.
Aw, damn. Man, I feel bad, bro. That wasn't your fault. I just, personally really enjoy doing this podcast a lot, and there's not a lot of time for anything else. So, that's why I brought you here to work with me, so we could still, hang out, but also do, this podcast about movies and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess that's true, but Mikey's still a dick, though.
God damn. Man, I just hope one day you two can be cool. He's my best friend. You're my best demon, so you're going to have to work it out.
Yeah, we'll see. But for now, he's a fucking bitch.
Christ. Okay. Well, friends, please, if you haven't already, subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast and help us out with a rating. It really does go a long way to support the show. We appreciate you sharing us with your friends because I'm sure your friends are cool. At least you think so, and I'm sure we would think so too. So let them know about the podcast. It's a really cool group of people. We're super happy about how our show is growing, especially on our different social media sites. Oh, fuck. Oh, Jesus Christ. That's a social media burp. Those never stop, even if Mikey's here. Even if Mikey's not here, that's for sure. Yeah, we're growing our community a lot on Instagram. TikTok, it's over 400 followers. I want to say our Twitter's over 400 followers. We have like 100 on Threads or whatever, and like nobody on Facebook. But that's because we don't use Facebook at all. But wherever you follow us, if you don't mind tagging us and saying, "Hey, at VHS Doom, I think you're awesome," or, share a post and share it with your friends. That'd be really fucking cool. We just appreciate everybody who listens in to us regularly. And also, we want to gain more people listening to us regularly so we can have a bigger community and do more fun, cool shit. So that's that. Please subscribe and help us out with a rating. If you're listening to us on Apple or, Spotify or iHeartRadio or whatever the fuck you use to listen to your podcast, go ahead and click the little star button and let us know what you think. Even if you think we fucking suck, it does go a long way to support the show if you do that. As always, I always say, check out the merch store, vhsdoom.com. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and you will find a link to our merch store. It's been a little while since I've added any new designs, but if you haven't ever bought anything, go check it out. It's pretty fun. And then lastly, we want you to come on the show. If you're a band, a director, or an actor, and you're promoting a project, or you're a host of a podcast and you want to talk about your podcast on another podcast, and, we could do the same thing with you guys. We want to talk to you. We really just want to network and get to know people in the community, and continue to grow this really cool group of people that we have, hanging out with us. Also, if you're an artist and you want to promote something to our listeners, that'd be awesome. Like, we're down with that. If you have any projects you want to talk about, let us know. Shoot us an email, vhsdoom@gmail.com, and we'd love to talk to you. Now, that's enough pandering, and it's a short pandering session because it's just me, and I'm going to fucking breeze through this. So, as I said before, this week will be quite different, and we're briefly going to discuss a film that I watched, and then next week we'll be back on track covering our planned feature of Candyman from 1992 starring the fucking best Tony Todd. But let's not waste any time, and we'll jump right into my quick review of Q, the Winged Serpent from 1982 by the legend Larry Cohen. All right, we will press play, though. So press play, motherfuckers. Go on. Press the button. Press it.
For 10 centuries it has waited to be awakened, to be worshipped again like a god, to fill the skies, to cast its shadow over the earth, to release its fury. Today in New York City, the Winged Serpent rises. The Winged Serpent rules. The Winged Serpent. David Carradine.
This thing has been prayed back into existence.
Michael Moriarty.
It was big, and there was something in it that looked like an egg. But it couldn't have been an egg. I mean, there aren't any eggs. There's no egg that big.
Richard Roundtree.
What I want to know is, how the hell does this tie in with the murders and the mutilations?
Candy Clark.
What are you going to do if someone dies tomorrow, or the next day, or the next day?
Well, I'm not going to think about it. It won't be my fault. It'll be theirs if they don't give me what I want.
Money. $1 million in cash, tax-free.
They are searching.
Looking good.
Discovering. Believing. And preparing for the battle of 1,000 years.
Load tracer ammunition. Want to see the trajectory?
Get those guys in the basket.
Man against the fantastic flying forces of a lost age.
Feel like saying a prayer?
Man against the Winged Serpent. Today in New York City, the Winged Serpent rules. The legend has come alive.
All right, cool. So Q the Winged Serpent, also known as simply Q, is a 1982 American monster horror film which was written, co-produced, and directed by Larry Cohen and stars Michael God damn it, I knew I was going to have trouble with this name. Moriarty, like Professor Moriarty? God damn it. Starring Michael Moriarty, Candy Clark, David Carradine, and Richard Roundtree. The film follows a petty swindler, played by Moriarty, who accidentally intrudes in a case involving a winged deity monster that poses a threat to New York City. He's the only person who has information that can help the police to stop the creature. But he kind of turns into a dick about that. So, yeah, as said, it's written and directed by Larry Cohen. It was produced by Samuel Z. Arkoff as well as Cohen. The cinematography was by Fred Murphy and Oliver Wood, and it was edited by Armand Leibowitz. The music's by Robert O. Ragland, and it was released on October 8th, 1982, to a runtime of 93 minutes. Now, unfortunately, the budget on this film was between like $1.1 and $1.2 million, and the box office was only $255,000. So they really lost a lot of fucking money on this. It was a flop for sure, as far as flops at theater go. But, you know, it does continue to be a cult classic and a very popular movie to this day. So that's a cool thing. So real quick run through on the plot, just really high level, and then I'll talk about a few of my thoughts. So the Aztec god, known as fucking, I'll never get this right, but Q, Quetzalcoatl, I hope that's right. I'm not sure. I can't fucking say it, but Q is a winged serpent. It's dragon-like lizard kind of thing that takes up residence in the Art Deco spire of the Chrysler Building. It has frequent jaunts in the midday sun to devour various helpless New Yorkers on the rooftops. The resulting bloody mess confounds detectives, Shepard and Powell, who are already occupied with a case involving a series of bizarre ritual murders linked to a secret Neo-Aztec cult. Neo-Aztec. That might be the first time I've ever read or said that statement ever. But yes, so Jimmy Quinn, who is a cheap, paranoid crook who wishes to be a jazz pianist, takes part in a botched diamond heist, attempting to hide from police after the robbery. He stumbles upon the creature's lair atop the Chrysler Building. Quinn abandons his attempts to settle down and leave his life of crime, deciding to extort from the city an enormous amount of money in exchange for directions to the creature's nest, which houses a colossal egg. Quinn makes a deal with the city, $1 million for the location of the nest. He leads Shepard and a paramilitary assault team to the top of the Chrysler Building, where they shoot the egg, killing the baby inside. Because the creature itself was not present in the nest, the city reneges on its offer to Quinn, taking back the $1 million and leaving him broke once again. Later, after killing Powell, the creature comes to the tower. After the showdown, the creature, riddled with bullets, falls onto the streets of Manhattan. And finally, Shepard shoots the plumed serpent's crazed priest, who had been committing the ritual murders, as he tries to kill Quinn to resurrect his god. Ultimately, a second large egg hatches in a different location in the city, and boom, movie cuts. So, my notes on this, and again, that's a very, very quick rundown of the plot. There's a ton of stuff that's taken place around all of this, but first of all, Michael Moriarty, his scatting and piano playing was actually all real. I did look that up. He wrote music and he was a piano player. It's a little weird, but it wasn't bad, and he was doing it all himself. And really cool note here, the film did actually use the real Chrysler Building crown as its primary location. So despite the initial objections from the owners, the production paid $18,000 to use the space. So all of that you're seeing them climb through is actually the Chrysler Building crown. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so when Jimmy, who got involved at like a breakfast in a crime ring, which that breakfast kind of reminded me, it looked like it was filmed the same way as like Reservoir Dogs in the beginning, where they're all sitting at a round table talking to each other. So I thought that was kind of cool. It looked very similar there. But he gets involved with a couple of guys, and he's a driver. Like, that's all he agrees to do. Well, they get to the crime scene. They're going to rob a diamond store, and they give him a gun, take the keys, and say, you're fucking coming in and helping us. You're going to pull your weight if you're going to get any of this at all. So he's forced to go inside. He does get out with a bag of diamonds. He's the only one who gets out, I guess. And he runs, and he fucking essentially like drops or throws the diamonds into the street, and they get run over by a truck or something, and they just fucking disappear. He really doesn't look for him, though. That was kind of a weird like plot hole to me. He just kind of looked around and then ran. Maybe he was just scared. He's probably just scared, right? But he literally runs from that crime scene all the fucking way to the very top of the Chrysler building. So he goes to his lawyer, who's supposed to be in the Chrysler building. He doesn't open the door, so he just keeps running, and he runs all the way to the very fucking tip top. Like, why? I don't know. That was a weird thing to do, but personally, I think he would have died of exhaustion by the time he made it all the way up to the very fucking top. And he has a weird conversation with himself once he's up there. He's like, oh, I've never been afraid of heights. And he's just like looking out the fucking, window, whatever. That was a weird scene, but that's how they got him involved. The film's special effects for the Flying Serpent were done using stop motion animation, and that was by Randall William Cook and David Allen. I think that they did an amazing job with that creature. I did love the overall creature effects, including the giant claws and the talons that were grabbing people off the tops of roofs. I thought they did a cool job with those. Also, the heads that were rolling are technically like bloody hard hats. They used construction workers for that kind of effect. That way you could have a bloody hat. But then they had, headless bodies and stuff, which was kind of cool. And I did like when they were dropping body parts and blood on New Yorkers walking through the streets. So that was kind of cool. That was a fun little, set of effects during the movie. So I thought it was kind of weird that everyone is very quick to accept that there's just a bird big enough to pick up humans and take them away to eat them. It's like you're really pushing it there, right? Like, I feel like educated people would be like, what are these, like fucking harpy eagles times 5, like educated people would be like, there's no fucking bird that's picking me up and carrying me off as a full grown adult. It's just not fucking happening. And if there is, like, holy shit, set it on fire, but there's no way educated people are believing that. It has to be something else, right? I don't know. It was just a little weird. So let's see here. David Carradine is always cool, like in most things that he does. He's kind of a, badass kung fu, dude. But he actually didn't do any physical fighting in this movie, which I thought was disappointing. The one thing I'll say about David Carradine that I always have like a visceral reaction to is his fucking haircut and his hairstyle. It's just always so annoying. Like, I feel like his hair is always in his face, and it's too long, and it's just always a little bit annoying. So, whatever. To each their own, though. That's just my own personal opinion. If your hair looks like David Carradine's, I'm sure you're still probably cool. Just put it in a fucking ponytail or something. The flaying victims had some cool makeup effects. So both the body that was fully flayed, that was a cool, like makeup effect. And then also the bodies that were being actively flayed, they were kind of showing the, priest picking the skin up and cutting under it. That was cool. Even for the time, that looked pretty good. Jimmy Quinn did want to be important, but he never really did the right thing. So this is my thought on this. At the end, he said he wanted to see his girlfriend again, but not until after he got a job. In all, though, he never really came around to be a part of the overall solution. He didn't submit to the priest. That's good. But he also, that wasn't enough of a redemption arc that I would have hoped to see. Maybe he could have been involved in taking down the serpent in one form or another. He was just, he didn't let it be resurrected. But if that priest would have taken off and, cut up some other people, he could have been resurrected anyway. You know what I mean? So it was just a little bit weird. I didn't love how quickly they just cut it off and like, oh, and we're not going to give you your fucking money, even though you did actually lead us to the place where we ended up fucking killing the real Winged Serpent. So still fuck you and fuck you. That was weird. All around, that was just kind of a weird thing. Like, Jimmy should have had a better ending. He should have done the right thing, and then he should have got paid, and then, like, it would have been like, yay. But it was kind of a weak ending on him, in my opinion. I thought it was annoying that they attacked the egg without waiting for the mother's return. That's really dumb. Like, even if the egg hatches, it's not flying off on you. And when the egg hatches, mama's coming back, right? So that was just stupid. That was just stupid of them. And then when Detective Shepard tells Jimmy that he's not getting any money because they didn't get the mother, they literally just fucking killed a giant killer baby winged serpent. Like, how much more do you need to follow through on your deal? They're just being a dick to this guy at that point. But what's new, right? So the mime being an undercover cop was fucking hilarious to me. When like a mime picks up the fucking phone and calls in and is, oh, the target's on the move. Like, okay, you're a fucking mime. All right. Undercover cops playing a mime. That was just weird. I love that they showed another egg at the end of the movie. I thought that especially when they cut right to black, like that was a good opening to like, another movie or whatever. But it did really poorly at the box office, as we said. So it could have been cool to see another entry in the story. And honestly, it could be cool to see an entry in this story that's more modern. If someone was to ever pick it up, like, they left it open. Larry Cohen left it open. So it probably doesn't need it because I think it's fine by itself. But, as a nostalgia piece, this would be a cool movie to see again in a more modern format. I think it would be fun. Okay, and then I feel like the title really did not help with the box office turnout. Like Cue the Winged Serpent or just Cue, like either one. It's just a weird fucking title and hard to get people out. And unfortunately, it was released the same weekend as the number 5 highest grossing film of that entire year of 1982, which is called My Favorite Year, and is a film based on Mel Brooks' childhood. And that film to this day still has a 97% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So, it's a pretty solid film. I've never seen it myself, but it seems to be very well liked. So the same weekend as a film that is that well liked, and the number 5, I think it brought in $20 million in total. Like, you're kind of asking to not be successful with a rough title like that, going up against a really good film. That just makes for a tough release, but whatever. Okay, so those are my notes. Moving on, just some critical response notes. Like, we don't typically do these when it's me and Mikey, but yeah, I'm going to read them out just because it's me only, and this is something that I'm going to do. So on Rotten Tomatoes, Cue the Winged Serpent does hold a 72% approval rating, with an average rating of 6.3 out of 10, I guess. On its average. But the consensus there reads, Cue's campy charms may be lost on audiences who want their monsters frightening, but a game cast and lovingly retrograde visual effects give this kaiju romp some majesty, which I agree. Our favorite person in the world, Roger Ebert, gave the film 2.5 out of 4 stars on his original review. And he commended Moriarty's performance in that. Ebert relates the anecdote that when movie reviewer Rex Reed met Cue the Winged Serpent's producer, Samuel Arkoff, Reed told him, "What a surprise. All that dreck, and right in the middle of it, a great method performance by Michael Moriarty." That's kind of dick. Apparently, Arkoff replied, "The dreck was my idea." So that's funny, and he's cool. Okay, so Colin Greenland reviewed Cue the Winged Serpent for Imagine and stated, "It's not often that a film is enjoyable as a monster movie, a character study, and a satire, but Cue scores on every one. As well as taking a few swipes at the police, the mass media, and big city politics, Larry Cohen cannot resist poking fun at the innumerable monsters that have gone chomping and stomping among the skyscrapers over the years." Apparently, Gene Siskel awarded the film 3 out of 4 stars, so yeah, cool, I guess. But Gene Siskel is also a dick, and read the names of the production crew of Silent Night, Deadly Night out on air so people could commit violence against them. So he's a fucking asshole. Or was. He's dead. So that's good too. Film critics and journalists James Marriott and Kim Newman featured Q on their 2006 book, The Definitive Guide to Cinema of Fear. Although they criticized the film's pacing as moving too fast, they felt that overall it was entertaining. In his retrospective review, Chuck Bowen of Slant gave The Winged Serpent a rating of 3 out of 5 stars, praising Shout Factory's 2013 restoration. In 2019, Screen Rant critic Rocco Thompson cited it as Larry Cohen's 6th essential film of his career. Now, for home media, there's not a ton, but we did have a VHS release by MCA and Universal home video. It was released on DVD by Blue Underground in 2003, and then Shout Factory released the Blu-ray on August 27th of 2013 through their Scream Factory sub-label. Okay, lastly, my final review and my final notes here. This is just my opinion of Q. So while Q, the Winged Serpent, may have been a box office flop, I think that it has all the elements of a great creature feature. The stop motion effects were a lot of fun to watch, and all of the helicopter shots flying like they were a bird, that was really awesome too. And the blood and gore, they were on point. I like the body parts and blood just falling out of the sky. That was pretty cool. But I do think that there was definitely a rushed pace to the film. They could have built more on the why or the how of the cult that was trying to bring Q back to existence, and they could have done more to finish Jimmy's character arc. And why did the priest need to be shot in the head so many fucking times by Shepard before dying? God damn. Just lay down. But overall, I think it's an awesome film and a ton of fun to watch. I would give Q, the Winged Serpent, 7 broken VHS tapes out of 10 any day of the week. Now, let's get the fuck out of here. As I said, this week, it's short as shit. That's all right. I'm still going to send you home with some movies. So grab your popcorn, grab your candies, grab your sody pops. This week, you're going home with a great haul. So we're doing creature features, friends. So you're going home with Willard from 1971. That's by Daniel Mann. Social Misfit uses his only friends, which are his pet rats, to exact revenge on his tormentors. You're going home with Rogue from 2007, which is by Greg McLean. An American journalist on an assignment in the Australian outback encounters a man-eating crocodile while trapped on a rapidly flooding mud island. Dun, dun, dun. You're going home with Alien from 1979 by Ridley Scott. If you haven't watched that, well, shame. But rewatch for all of us. The crew of a commercial spacecraft encounters a deadly life form after investigating an unknown transmission. You're going home with Gremlins from 1984 by Joe Dante. A young man inadvertently breaks 3 important rules concerning his new pet and unleashes a horde of malevolently mischievous monsters on a small town. Tons of fun. And lastly, for the family and the kids, you're going home with Jurassic Park from 1993 by Steven Spielberg. A pragmatic paleontologist touring an almost complete theme park on an island in Central America is tasked with protecting a couple of kids after a power failure causes the park's cloned dinosaurs to run loose. Oh boy. All right, so next week, friends, we will get back to our regular flow. We are going to cover Candyman. Oh, that's a Candyman burp. Fuck. It's like 3 burps in one episode, and a very short episode. Uh-oh. Am I dying? I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so we'll be back with Mikey next week. We'll cover Candyman and all of our glory that we typically use on this show. This week, super simple, quick and fast. Hope you enjoyed it. For our shout-outs, I'm still going to read Mikey's because he has it in the show notes. But Mikey is shouting out Tangent of Horror Podcast, the Dab of Death Podcast, the In Film We Trust Pod, Doom Generation Podcast, our friend Troy, Jimmy, and Katie. I'm going to shout out a couple new people this week. So we got a couple new follows, and we did some new following of a couple podcasts that are just some really cool people. So Mutant City Horror Podcast, go give them a like, follow, subscribe, rating. They're really cool. They have some cool interviews, and they have a really fucking fun Christmas episode where they just get shit-faced drunk and talk about a cool new 2023 film. I want to say There's Something in the Barn or something like that. It's about Christmas gnomes. That was a fun episode to listen to. So go check them out. Check out A Cut Above Horror Reviews on Instagram. They're a lot of fun and pretty cool people. Also go check out Max King. He is a YouTuber and a horror reviewer and creator on YouTube. So Max King, you can find him on both Instagram and on YouTube. Really cool guy. So those are my shout outs this week. Don't forget, friends, come on the podcast if you have a project you want to promote. Shoot us an email at vhsdoom@gmail.com. And as always, twerk till it fucking hurts. We'll see you next time. Peace. Oh, shit. Sorry, guys. I almost forgot. This week we do have a sponsor ad. It's a little bit weird because it's somebody we all know. And I don't know if it's going to affect their work here, but I guess they got a little side hustle going. So take it away.
Yes. Hello. Well, first of all, I'm paying good money to place this ad, so fuck off. Secondly, hello. My name is Balthazar, and I'm here to talk to you today about Balthazar's Hitman Services. If you've been a fan of the show for a long time, you know that I murdered Mikey quite efficiently, and I've decided to start selling those services. I can do many types of murder. I can murder by gun, and I can murder by physical hand-to-hand combat, and also by fire. So if you need murder, call Balthazar at 1-666-666-6666. Fuck Mikey, and good night.